Today on Brainpower, we are building a GPT. Let's go ahead and jump. Hello, everyone. It's Josh, and welcome to episode 4 of Brainpower, building a GPT. Oh, today is going to be great. You're absolutely going to love this overview of building a GPT, which is an incredibly powerful function in ChatGPT. Now, before I get started, I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to go ahead and download the files. So go to this URL and you'll see down in episode 4, you can finally download the files. Now, the files for the other episodes, still working on those, but for this episode, you have those. And so, what you're going to get in there are 3 files. I'll get into all the details in just a bit as far as like what's inside that file. It's a zip file, and you're going to unzip it, and there's going to be some code and some other things you can copy and paste in there. But grab the file, and once you grab that, then you'll be able to participate in the hands-on. Now, before I get into the hands-on, I have some background information to give as far as the details of what is a GPT. So let's go ahead and get into building a GPT. All right, so first off, what is a GPT? Well, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So when you talk about ChatGPT, that's what the GPT stands for. So, with the GPT, is that really a true description of it? Well, it does generate content. We are training it. With a prompt. We're not training the model per se, but we're actually giving it training instructions with a prompt and potentially documents. So I guess that works. And is it using the transformer? Sure. But I don't know if GPT is really the best name for what this is. Essentially what this is an automation assistant. And what we're building here are precursors to AI automation. There's a lot of things that we need to do on our end to actually implement a GPT, but I have a feeling that OpenAI is going to build these into automations eventually. I can kind of see where we're headed with that. All right. So you could think of a GPT as a packaged set of instructions for GPT-4 to process. Now, keep in mind that you need to have an OpenAI Plus account or Teams or Enterprise to use a GPT. The free account, no, you won't have access. So, you're going to have to get a Plus account to run through these exercises here. But believe me, it is totally worth it when you implement a GPT into your workflows, as you're going to see here today. Now, so what's in that package? Well, in this package, we have the name of the GPT and an associated image. Now, this is going to play really big in the GPT store as far as the name and the associated image. And if you have a series of GPTs, are you going to eventually sell those? Or maybe they're aligned with your team or enterprise. So, you start with a name and an image. Also in there, we have a prompt. That's critical. The prompt is going to go ahead and drive the result coming back from ChatGPT or the model GPT-4. We also have the ability to upload associated documents that you'll see here today. So if you have any related information inside of a document that can be consumed, that is part of the process of influencing the prompt, we can add that. In addition, there's more. A GPT can browse the web using Bing. It can use Code Interpreter. And with Code Interpreter, there are over 300 Python scripts that GPT-4 has access to that can run in the background. Dolly to produce images, and even use API calls, application programming interface calls, to call out to third-party applications for processing, like if you want to connect with Zapier. So many different options here when building a GPT. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and head over to ChatGPT. And let's first break down where you're going to find your GPTs and the interface for a GPT. The first thing we're going to do is let's first start as if we were just going in and creating a new prompt or a new message in ChatGPT. For most people, this is where you're going to start. Now, you'll notice that over in the left-hand column that I have some of my GPTs listed here, and then I get the option here to explore GPTs. Let's go ahead and select that. Now I'm in the store, and this is where I can go in and do a search for public-facing GPTs that individuals have created. So I can go ahead and do a search in here. And what I'm looking for is 11 Labs, which allows me to go in and convert text to audio. Now, I've already gone in and loaded a GPT 11 Labs text over here. I don't see it in this list, but I can eventually find it. But what I can do then is just click on this, and that GPT opens, and I can begin using it. Now, if I really love this public-facing GPT, I can hit the drop-down menu here, and I can go ahead and keep it in the sidebar. All right. And so what I've done is I've actually kept one of these over here in the sidebar that is not mine. It's somebody else's GPT, but I can use it. And this one, if you want to search for it, is 11 Labs text to speech. This will take your text and convert it into an audio track. Pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and just put a pin on that for right now. And I'm going to go back over to explore GPTs. If you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, I have my GPTs, and I can create a GPT. Now, we'll create one in just a moment, but let's take a look at my GPTs. So under my GPTs, I have the ones that I have created. You can see that I have two that are only me, and the script wizard is what we're going to be building here today. And so I've already run through that once, but I can go in and I can create a GPT here. I can click on a GPT and begin to use it. All right, let me go back. This one's public. All right, so it can be used, this multiple choice question creator 1.03. So I actually version out my GPTs when I name them. You can access that. So if you want to search for multiple choice question creator, that is wide open, and you can generate multiple choice questions from that. Now, if I want to go in and I want to delete a GPT, I can click on the ellipsis here and delete the GPT. And I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the script wizard. We're going to be building that here momentarily. So I'm going to delete that. Are you sure you want to delete it? Cannot be undone. Boom. Away it goes. I deleted that GPT. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's begin creating a GPT. Now, from my GPTs, I can create a GPT, or when you go to the home area of the GPTs or explore GPTs, I can go in and hit create. Let's go ahead and click on create. All right. So hopefully you're doing all right so far. All right. So we've gotten a little bit as far as the lay of the land of when you first come into ChatGPT, where you explore the GPTs, and then how you create a GPT. Now, what we're going to do is first take a look at this interface so you can kind of get the lay of the land and the way that it's set up. And then we'll begin the process for building out the GPT. Now, before I do that, I do want to go ahead and mention the student files. So if you have taken the time to download the student files, it'll come in the format of a zip. All right. And so it's going to look something like this. All right. You have a zip file. Now, when you unzip it, you're going to see 3 files in there: GPT protection prompt, intro video script, and structured prompt. All right. So we're going to go ahead and need those. We're going to need those along the way. This intro video script is a document that we're going to be uploading that describes, the elements of a great intro video script. So we're going to be using that. The GPT protection prompt is a document that will actually protect your GPT from being jailbroke or from people stealing your code. I'll get into that later on. All right. And then finally, the structured prompt is when we are going to go in and modify our prompt to give it a little bit more power. All right. So we're going to go from a free form prompt to a structured prompt in our GPT, give it more depth as far as the type of response coming back from ChatGPT. Okay, so now that you have those student files ready to rock, let's go ahead. Just getting my bearings here and go over the interface. All right, so you notice that we are creating a new GPT. In the left-hand side, this is where we create or build the GPT. And over on the right-hand side is where we preview or test the GPT. All right, so the idea is that we go in and we create over here on the left and we preview on the right. The 2 buttons on the top, create and configure, kick off the process. Now, what we want to do is go in and create. We want to go in and create. Configure is when we want to get into the details of the GPT, but we're not quite there yet. So I want to go ahead and create. So it says, hi, I hope you build a brand new GPT. You can say something like, make a creative who helps generate visuals for new products. What would you like to make? Well, what I would like to do is create an intro script, video script from a website or text I provide. Now, that's fairly simple, and you don't have to get too complex here. And what you're going to see is that, ChatGPT will go in and ask you additional questions that it needs to actually build out this GPT. So you are working as a partner with this GPT builder to create this GPT. Now, the more information that you give it in the message box, the better. But we're going to go with what we have right here. Okay, so create an intro video script from a website or text I provide. Let's go for it. So now GPT Builder kicks in, and now it's going to start asking me a series of questions. Like it wants to know more information before it goes in and builds the GPT. So it's going through and doing the work in the background. And the first thing it's going to ask me is, how about the name? Do you want to go and name it Script Crafter? Does that sound good to you? Well, you can say, well, give me some more options. It's a video script, so, maybe I want something with video in there. There we go. Video script wizard. Perfect. One sounds great. So we're going to go ahead and give it this name. Okay, so it looks like I went ahead and reached my limit here. Now, boy, that really poses a problem. Boy, nothing like doing a live and reaching your limit. Okay, so I'm going to have to go ahead and like pivot here and go into uh, an existing GPT that I have as opposed to going in and launching or creating this GPT. So again, my apologies, but this is the world that we live in. Of course, best laid plans. Um, Now, what's ironic is that when I was testing this earlier, I may have only done 20 prompts and I have reached my cap currently. All right. So let's go ahead and just back up. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is dance right now and go to my GPT that I've already created and break it down for you. All right. So let me go into this GPT and I want to edit this. So let me go back. I'm going to edit this GPT. All right. So we were over in the create area. And now, one tip when you go in and you create a GPT over on the left hand side, once you have that information down, and again, I know I couldn't illustrate it completely, but it will walk you through the name, the image, and then the prompt. So it's going to ask you a series of questions about, hey, does this image look good for the GPT? And then, hey, does this prompt look good? Or it's going to ask you a series of questions to enhance the prompt. So you don't have to write the prompt. It's going to write the prompt for you. All right. So once you do that, you can go over to configure over here and get into all of the details of the GPT. So we have the multiple choice question creator. This is where I can change the name. Now I like to go ahead and version out my GPTs. All right. So this is version 1.03. I've been updating the jailbreak code, which I'll show you here momentarily. Here is the description. Creates multiple choice questions. Now with the video script writer, you would just go in and just give it a description. This writes a video script. For the instructions, now I have a structured prompt in here. I'm not going to get into details. This is pretty intense right here. But if you follow me, I use a Tracy format, which is a structured way of putting together a detailed prompt. So we have task and role, audience, create, and intent. That's what Tracy stands for. And what I want to point out to you here is this right here. That is the anti-jailbreak code. So you can put this in your prompt to prohibit individuals from getting your source documents, from going in and getting your prompt, and really kind of introspecting your GPT. It's not foolproof. Again, there are ways around this, but this really prohibits a lot of nefarious activity on your GPT. Now, in your student files, I do have that particular file that's in there. Bear with me while I go back and grab that. So that is going to be your protection prompt. It looks kind of like this right here. Now you can take this protection prompt and just go in and put it into your prompt. Also, The structured prompt document that I've given you right here, you can just go in and copy and paste this for building the video script in the prompt box. All right. You can also add the jailbreak information under create rules under here. All right. So you have those, and hopefully that will give you some, information to use when you build the video script GPT. I'm still going to go ahead and review my multiple choice script GPT just to give you the background as far as what else is in here. Then we have conversation starters. Those conversation starters are like little tiny prompts to begin the conversation. And over here on the right-hand side is where I can go ahead and test this. So, I can go ahead and just click on, create questions on leadership. Boom. And it's going to go ahead and now again, my cap is reached. So it's not going to generate that. And honestly, in all the times of building a GPT, this is the first time I've reached my cap. And, it's going to happen when you do the demo. It's going to happen when you do the live. This is just the reality of the world that we live in. All right. So my apologies. It's again, a little bit difficult to, demo it, but you get the idea. You can actually work from it from the left-hand side. All right. So now what else can we go in and add over on the right? Well, we can go ahead and upload files that will help support the prompt. So if you have any kind of documentation, again, be careful. With the Plus account, all of this is open. It could be part of the trained model. So this, no corporate IP. If you have a team account, if you have an enterprise account, you're good to go. All right. But when I upload the files, I can go ahead and choose a file like this intro video script that has all kinds of details on how to write an intro video script. And if I'm building the video script GPT, I can then upload this Word doc and make it part of the GPT. Now, because this is my multiple choice GPT, I'm not going to do that. But if I had a doc that had all kinds of detailed descriptions about how to write multiple choice questions, I can add that in here. All right, what else do we have? Web browsing through Bing, Dolly image generation, and using code interpreter. These can be turned off. So if you just want straight text generation capabilities from GPT-4, you can leverage that, or you can include web browsing. And for the video script, we want the ability to go ahead and go out to a website if we want to build a video script. We can ask it to create an image. Maybe we need an associated image for this video, or images that go with the script. That's a possibility. And then code interpreter. Again, that has access to over 300 Python scripts, and it just gives you a world of capabilities. And finally, the last thing that we have down here is create new action. This allows you to leverage APIs or authentications. So external or third-party applications that you can hook into. I mentioned Zapier earlier. That is an option. Okay. So back we go. So here's my multiple choice, question creator. Again, I have a fairly decent sized prompt that's in here. And once I have everything tested, again, I've reached my limit here. So it's gonna go and balk at me. It's not even allowing me to send this at this point. Wild. But what you'll do is once you have your GPT all set, you'll then go ahead and update or save in the upper right hand corner. You can say it's only me So just I can only see my GPT. Uh, Anyone with a link or everyone. So that's public facing. And this is what the public facing will look like. And once I confirm, I can then go ahead and then save or update this GPT. All right, so I have unpublished changes here. I'm not going to, update this. And let me just go ahead and kick this back over here to my GPTs. All right, so the one thing that I want to illustrate here, and again, it's a little difficult because I can't generate anything because of my cap. I do want to show you one last feature here before I sign off, and this is kind of an intro to where things are headed in regards to automation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this, and I'm just going to go up to ChatGPT, and using a zero-shot prompt, I'm just going to go in and ask it to create a video script from a website. All right. So now, let's see here. Just got to get my bearings here. All right. So what I need is create an intro video script from how to create an educational video on Wikipedia. All right, so hopefully it'll browse and grab something from Wikipedia. Again, I got my cap here, but hey, if I go over to 3.5, I could do it, but not going to happen. All right, well, what I wanted to illustrate, if I can do it, make a new chat. Boy, they are busy here today. Is if I type in an @ symbol, I can then bounce to another GPT. So what I was going to illustrate was, let me go back. What I was going to illustrate was that if you type in an @ symbol, you get access to your GPTs. So you can go in and do a video script. Then once a video script is in here, use 11 Labs to convert it to text to speech. All right. So just a lot of possibilities here with the GPTs. Now, based upon what's happened today, I mean, hopefully you've gotten some good value out of today, but it seems like I'm going to have to do a redo on this one. So look for probably a part 2 next week as I go through those student files. This is totally worth a part 2. But anyways, if you have stuck with me throughout this whole entire episode, I really appreciate it. But these are the times that we live in. You just don't know when you're going to reach some type of cap with ChatGPT, and it just so happened it did it with this episode. So anyways, thank you so much, my friends, for joining me here. Again, hopefully I'll see you on the next episode of Brainpower. Take care.